Stefon Diggs, man, where do I even begin? Um, let's just cut it from the top. You lost Cardi B, you lost the Super Bowl, you missed out on possibly getting 2 rings, and you basically cheated on Cardi B, basically. And from what I've heard is that Stefon Diggs' ex baby mama or whatever, ex baby mama, I don't care, whatever. It was one of his exes that was at his hotel. And Cardi B, though it was a good idea beforehand because she loved him so much that we're gonna have $1 million after party. Now, whether that was for if they won or lost, I don't know. Probably both. But man, this shit's just funny, man. Because because as soon as she was asked to give a message to Stefon Diggs to lead up to the Super Bowl, and all she said was "good luck" and then walked away, like that's when we knew it was up. The jig is up, and then boom, they unfollowed each other. You know that $1 million after party? Neither of them went to it. So like it's crazy. And then clip flying around of him of a girl standing up in the front row. It's Stefon Diggs holding her hand, and her, I'm pretty sure I can lip read, saying, "I love you." That's crazy. That's wild. And man, oh man, I can't even begin because like it's crazy. It's crazy how after he basically fucked up, he basically choked his chef. That the PR from ESPN, SportsCenter, NFL was all behind this man like he was some inspiring story when we all know he was messy as hell. He's got he's got multiple kids with multiple women. And he doesn't wear the you know what to prevent that. So Stefon Diggs, wear that shit. Because like you're becoming the NFL version of Nick Cannon, and let's be honest for a second. They moved his arrangement after the Super Bowl, and then they did this whole PR thing about like, oh, Stefon Diggs, he's going to the Super Bowl. How inspiring. We know what he is. We know what he is. We know he's messy. We know about this, that from all the freaking cases, from all the freaking like women that he was with. Like the guy's a freak. And like it's just even funnier because like I'm not gonna try to get into it, but like it's funny that Cardi B went from Offset, who was terrible, even though his last album was a good freaking joint, I'm not gonna lie. It then went from Offset to Stefon Diggs. It's like, oh wait a minute, there's no difference in between them. That's funny as hell. Now I'm not here to make fun of her. I'm here to make fun of Stefon Diggs, but it is funny thinking about it. But like Stefon, you're done. You're done. This whole thing reminded me of it's so weird that Mike Vrabel was so on board with this. I feel like Vrabel is gonna get AJ Brown and pass on Stefon Diggs because, well, Stefon Diggs has a case, which will probably get nothing to it, but like still. And here's the thing, man. Stefon Diggs was such a non-factor in those playoff games, it wasn't even funny. Hell, in the Super Bowl, he only had one catch and one pass towards him. Now, maybe that's because of the Seattle defense. Yeah, but it's still funny as hell. He was such a non-factor in SportsCenter, ESPN, and NFL were just dick riding the man as hard as they could. And this is what happens. That's fucking crazy. I think DeMarco Douglas had a more productive night in the Super Bowl than Stefon Diggs. You know how funny that is? That's really fucking funny. The guy is a no-show in big-time games, and then we're like supposed to be all happy about him and be like, oh, yes, what an inspiring story. The only inspiring moment that he did was the Minneapolis Miracle. And ever since then, it's just been a slow down for him from the start, from the Bills to the Texans, and now to the Patriots, where it looked like he was having a redemption year. And then this shit comes out. And now he lost the girl. And now he lost his supposed girl. And then he lost the Super Bowl, missed out on getting 2 rings. And now what's he going to do? He's probably going to get that woman he took to the Super Bowl pregnant or something. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. And then, moving on from the interesting case and enigma that is Stefon Diggs, we move on to a situation which is the 101 of not to do when you lose the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And that is James Pearce Jr. Now, I'm not going to try to make any jokes about it. But, like, this whole shit is insane. I wrote a whole fucking page about it, too. Because let me list out all his charges, all right? Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Aggravated stalking. Fleeing police. He hit a police officer with a car in the knee when he was fleeing. And here's the thing. With the aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer because of the hit to the knee, of course, it would be a minimum of 5 years in prison if he's ultimately convicted of that charge, or at least one of the charges against him. An aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer in Florida is a first-degree felony and has a mandatory sentence. In short word terms, he is fucked. Like, the guy is screwed. So aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer. This is the juiciest stuff of the whole crap of this whole thing. Where it's a first degree felony and the maximum sentence will be 30. This man was fleeing. He hit an officer, and now he could possibly, at worst, face 30 years of prison. Now, do I think he's going to spend 30 years in prison over this? Absolutely not. He'll get a 5-year sentence or something, and by a miracle, he gets out of it. But there's no way, shape, or form of out of this. But that would be the worst case scenario. And then we have aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Second degree felony. And the maximum is 15 years. So you add that up. You get 45 years in prison, which is terrible. Ends his football career by a whole bit. He ain't gonna, I hope I'm saying this movie name right. He ain't gonna long yard this with the movie with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock. But, like, damn, he's screwed. And then the minimum would be 21 months, which it'd honestly be a fucking miracle given the context of what the hell James was doing for this to only get 21 months. But then again, he's an NFL player. Then aggravated stalking. This is a third-degree felony. And he get 5 years at the maximum. Now, this charge probably doesn't even matter because of the heavier charges. But given on what he did, given the damage he did to his girl's car, like, he should definitely get charged with the maximum with that one. That's all I'll say about it. And then fleeing or eluding, high speed, reckless, second degree felony, maximum is 15 years. So add that up. If he gets all these charges, he gets 65 years, which is awful. And like 15 years simply for fleeing. If he didn't flee, 2 of these charges won't be there. And his chances of getting through with escaping this would be so high. But no, bro. I heard one of his high school teammates said he got anger issues or something. This prophesized turning it, because if he didn't try to flee, the aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer which again is a first-degree felony in Florida. They take that seriously because it's Florida. You got a chance of getting 30 years, and you're going to get time anyway. You're going to get 5 years. So, like, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon is one thing. Aggravated stalking is one thing. But the fleeing or eluding, and then the next charge, you got resisting an officer with violence, which is a third-degree felony. And we get 5 years. 5 years, and then unlike the stalking charge, it would be none for the minimum. So it's like the guy's screwed either way, but that last hurrah he tried to do, it cost him basically his career. He was already screwed before then, you could say that, but like then with him trying to flee and stuff, hitting the officer, resisting arrest, he's screwed. He screwed himself over. His career is done. And now let me say this, is that he did crash his car, which is why he was stopped. He was on gunpoint. Like, the officers had him on gunpoint. He went back in his car and fucking drove off. And then he crashed his car. He ran on foot. He resisted arrest. And it took, if you watch the video, you know, he took 7 officers to hold him down, to put him in cuffs, handcuffs. So, like, this whole situation is just a train wreck. And it's even worse if you watch the NFL honors. Yeah, if you've seen that clip of James Pearce Jr.'s mother saying how proud her son is and all that. And then for this to happen 2 days later is just, it's a terrible situation for her, but it's just unironically, sadly funny of what has happened now, which is sad. I'm praying for his good. I'm praying for his ex. I'm hoping she's doing well. That's terribly traumatic to deal with. I hope she's doing better. And you know, this is the lesson, folks. Do not throw away your career like this. Control your emotions. Get help if you need it. It's just a terrible situation all around. I mean, it's even worse when you know that the Falcons traded up for this guy. They really believed in him. And his talent proved his worth. He was talented. He could have been the next big thing. He damn sure would have been the next big thing in Atlanta. But now he just threw away his whole career. It's just sad, man. But I don't know how he gets out of this. I really don't. It's going to take some miracle shit for him to get out of this. But after how the situation transpired, how it went down, he's got to face time and learn the consequences. That's all I got to say about him. Yeah, that's it. Bye. God bless.